Okay, so just as a reminder, we will record this so that we can post it later. If you have any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. We will try and answer them as we move along. At the end, we should have some time for question answer, at which point you can unmute and ask any questions you have. Otherwise, we will go ahead and get started, and I will hand this off to Dr. Dotson.
Thank you, Jeremy. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see you. We'll start out with my monthly safety update. The safety committee finalized flip charts that we hope to now send to the printer. These flip charts are have the steps to take during emergencies like fire, earthquake, active assailant, etc. Much of this information is actually already included on our website, but these charts are intended to provide an in-person on-site option to support some of our emergency response efforts so that people can access it in multiple places and multiple ways. The safety committee is also looking forward to receiving some feedback from the academic senate before we establish a plan on the frequency of future drills. Brian Vizuzzi, Dan Turner, and Dale Vogelsang are working on some faculty-specific tools and training to support faculty in communicating to students about basic emergency response procedures each term. Hopefully some short videos, etc. But they are also going to hold a training during Flex Week in August. I wanted to take a minute to thank them for volunteering to use their expertise to provide faculty with these tools and training and to help us move in the direction of being as prepared as we can for potential emergencies. We are also getting close to finalizing a training session that'll occur during Flex Week in August to support our active assailant response. That training is going to be led by Keenan and Associates and held on 2 different days to try and make it available for as many people as possible. This training is going to be one of a series that we hope will contribute toward our future lockdown drill, where we will practice one aspect of our active assailant response procedures. Our active assailant response procedures at the Yuba Community College District and here at Yuba College are most commonly described as run, hide, fight. We expect to focus on the hide portion or the lockdown portion for the drill this year. Wanted to give an update on our middle college high school partnership. We're continuing to support Marysville Joint Unified's leadership in formalizing a middle college high school agreement. The MJUSD board will discuss the partnership again at their board meeting on March 7th. Last week, I attended a meeting with some of the members of their board, as well as community leaders who are interested in supporting this partnership, to talk about what the partnership looks like, what the advantages are for our community, and how we can support it. We certainly are looking forward to getting the signal that we'll get to move that partnership forward and start having conversations around student services and academic issues that need to be addressed before it can start. Also wanted to touch base on our EMP budget process. I've met with both the Academic Senate and the College Council now to discuss a draft EMP budget process. I'm hoping that it will be finalized this week with College Council, next week with College Council, and move toward implementation, which certainly will include broadly communicating the process that we decide to implement and move forward. Wanted to also share some RAM updates. So the committee met to look at a RAM, which is a resource allocation model based on the student-centered funding formula and how it would look for the district and application. There's still some questions to work out around how district services will be funded, how items that are resourced at the college level but are provided district-wide will be funded. For example, Yuba College manages the daycares for all of our district sites. We also need to work through some potential concerns around the use of the state's funding model and its implications on high cost and high demand programs. I do want to just pause really quickly and see if any of my fellow committee members wanted to point anything else about the work of that group. All right, I will jump forward. This year I am holding open office hours, and when the weather is nice, trying to do walk and talks. My next walk and talk is scheduled for March 15th in the afternoon around 4 o'clock. So if you're available and interested, throw some shoes on that you are comfortable to walk in and meet me in the president's office. And we'll take about 30 minutes to walk around campus and talk about any issues you might want to discuss. If the weather is bad, we will skip the walk and we'll just hold open office hours and get a chance to connect. Wanted to make sure that you save the date for our Yuba College Employee Awards and Recognition event. That's going to take place on April 26th, starting at 2 p.m. in Flavors. We did send an invitation out, but I wanted to make sure you saw it and you mark your calendars. And then finally, I will just mention that our next YuZoom is April 5th at 4 o'clock. If you'd like to be on the agenda, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to have you present if there are topics that you would like to share. That will be our second to last YuZoom for this academic year before we take a break starting in June for the summer. And with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Dwayne Newman, who is going to handle the instruction updates today. Dwayne?
Thank you, Dr. Dodson. So today, what we'd like to do from my division is shout out to students and staff about some really great things that are happening. First, I wanted to talk about our Project MFG team. If you are not aware, last year we sent a team of students to regional and national competition in the area of manufacturing. And so what this really is they are given a set of plans. They have to program a CNC machine, and I've got a picture of one of those machines there for you. And they have to build the parts, and then they have to weld the parts together. And we're talking tolerances of thousandths of an inch, so like a fraction of a human hair. And last year, the team came in second, and we just week before last sent the team to Wichita, Kansas for the regional competition. And that team was made up of 3 students, James Walkup, Cody Miller, and Kelsey Tubbs. And it's coached by Professors Joe Bauer and Dan Turner. Mr. Bauer went with the team to Wichita and watched them compete there. And although we don't have results yet, confidence is high. And we say that because apparently our team was the only team that actually finished the project. So we're pretty proud of that. The other thing, if we can go to the next slide that I wanted to speak to today, was our athletics, particularly our basketball team. So again, if you haven't heard, the men's basketball team finished the season 26-3. They're the Bay Valley Conference champs. We really are proud of our team and our coaches, Doug, Nate, and Ken, and very thankful to our staff, Eric, Greg, and all the others that worked to put this all together. Particularly among the coaches, excuse me, Doug Cornelius was voted Coach of the Year of the Bay Valley Conference. The students, Cameron Flowers and Devin Montcalm, were voted Co-Players of the Year. Both of them also all freshman team. And then RJ, excuse me, I'm sorry, RJ Smith was voted first team all conference, and Connor Baroni was selected to the all defensive team. And finally, women's basketball, congrats out to Janae Bluehorse, who was unanimously, and I understand that's a pretty uncommon thing, but unanimously voted the first team all conference player. So real proud of our athletes and our coaches and our staff over on the athletics, kinesiology, and health side. So if you get a chance, come on out and support the baseball, softball, and track and field team this term, and we'll look for you out on the fields or at the courts. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Teresh.
Hi, everybody. So some quick updates. We're trying to get really good about using multiple ways to let the campus community know when we have new employees. So you see Dr. Dotson has started to add this on our like weekly, this week at Yuba College. We're trying to send emails out and also use this opportunity since there are a lot of new faces across campus. So this month, probably since our last meeting, we welcomed 3 people to the team in in enrollment services, we have Angelica Munoz, who is our new interim director of enrollment services, as she started on Monday. Crystal Madrid is our new A&R technician, and she started today, although Crystal is a recent graduate who just transferred. So she just came right back, only this time in a new role. And then Cynthia Cano started last month as a DSPS clerical assistant, and really fortunate that she came in just in time for her to start with a major rush of students that came in. So we're really fortunate to have these really 3 strong new employees with us. And so please, when you have a moment, take some time to welcome them to the YC community. And I think I'm turning it over to Chris next in counseling.
Thank you. I wanted to share with you a couple of things that are coming up in March and April. So Monday, March 27th, we will have the American Association for University Women STEM Conference. I said 500, but actually we've been told we're going to have 850 8th grade middle school young women and teachers on campus. So I am asking anyone who has the ability to help us provide student tours or hand out lunches that day, please check in with your supervisor and then let me know how you can be of service to us so that we can help Yuba College be YC proud and share with all of our young women what Yuba College has to offer. The next day, and the date is wrong, so it's Friday, April 21st. It will be the Workforce Career Connection Day, and we're expecting between 250 and 300 junior and senior high school students to explore our CTE programs. This is really, really exciting. We're grateful that the workforce is able to give us some money so that we can put this on, because we understand that not all students are ready to go into a particular educational field, but want to explore CTE programs. I'm seeking volunteers. If you would like to hand out pizza to our 300 students or hand out a goodie swag bag that we have for them, please let me know and I will put you on the list. Next slide. So I wanted to share with you academic standing for the fall 2022. So this is based on students 5,290 honor list, 755 students, 15%. I just wanted to mention to you that last year was only 13%. So yay, we went up 2%. And this is for students who maintained a 3.0 grade point average with at least 12 units of graded semester units throughout the semester. Good standing. So last year we had 76%. We still have the same percentage. And good standing is anyone who was enrolled in 12 units that maintain a GPA of a 2.0 to 2.9. Now we go to, and those students, honor students in good standing, that is noted on their transcript. So that's really important for them. So level 1 probation. So the good thing is that our level 1 probation went down. We were at 6% last semester. We're down to, and we're only at 3% this semester. So a level 1 probation is a student who failed to maintain a cumulative GPA of a 2.0. And when the percentage of all their units, W's, incompletes, no pass, exceed 50%. Level 2 probation, 4%. We were the same last fall of 2021 was 4%. So that is really exciting to see that. Level 2 probation, again, is someone who does not maintain that 2.0 and consecutively has had the same notation of 50% more of their W's, incomplete, and no pass. Dismissed students, 2%. I must say, we went up a percentage on this one. So, but I want you to know that we look at all the students to make sure that they really are dismissed. And students do have the right, if they don't feel like their dismissal should have happened, they can petition that. And a person who's dismissed is a person who has had less than a 2.0 in 3 consecutive semesters. If there's any, I think we'll do questions at the end, Dr. Dotson, Jeremy. Okay, great. And I turn the time over to Marcy.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to use our time today to run through some frequently asked questions about service animals. And I want to apologize to those who may have heard this last week. We hope to get the information out to all, so please bear with me as we move forward. Many people with disabilities use a service animal to be able to fully participate in everyday life. And since we often have service dogs on campus, it's helpful to remind ourselves of the ADA regulations surrounding the use of these animals. So first of all, what is a service animal? According to the ADA, a service animal is defined as a dog that has been individually trained to do work or perform tasks for an individual with a disability. The task performed by the dog must be directly related to the person's disability. But what exactly does do work or perform tasks mean? To be recognized as a service dog and have rights protected under the ADA, the animal must be trained to take a specific action when needed to assist the person with a disability. The work of a service dog for a person with limited or no vision is very clear. And we can see the value of a dog that retrieves objects for an individual who uses a wheelchair. It's also easy to recognize the need for a dog that alerts a person with a hearing disability when someone is approaching from behind or when an alarm is going off. But dogs can also be trained to perform tasks for individuals with disabilities that aren't easily identifiable. A person with diabetes may have a dog trained to alert them when their blood sugar reaches high or low levels. A person with depression may have a dog trained to remind them to take their medicine. The dog of a person who has epilepsy may be trained to detect the onset of a seizure or to help the person remain safe during the seizure. A person with PTSD may have a dog trained to lick their hand to alert them to an oncoming panic attack, or to take some other specific action to help avoid the attack or to lessen its impact. Does the ADA require service animals to be professionally trained? It surprises many people that the answer to this question is no. People with disabilities have the right to train their dogs themselves. They're not required to use a professional service dog training program. Does the ADA require that service animals be certified as service animals? Again, the answer is no. Covered entities like colleges may not require documentation, such as proof that the animal has been certified, trained, or licensed as a service animal, and this would be a violation of the ADA. Do these dogs have to wear a vest that identifies them as service animals? Again, this surprises many people because the answer is no. The ADA does not require service animals to wear a vest, an ID tag, or a specific type of harness, and it would be unlawful for an entity to require that. Next slide, please. So in light of all this, how does a place like a college with a general no animals rule know how to respond to an individual on campus with a dog when it's not obvious that the dog is a service animal? The U.S. Department of Justice says that in situations like these, we may ask only two specific questions. The first question is the dog a service animal required because of a disability? If the answer received is yes, we may then ask, what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? Again, we are not allowed to request any documentation that the dog is registered, licensed, or certified, or to require that the dog demonstrate its task. We also may not inquire about the nature of the person's disability. So when can a service animal be precluded from access at a campus? Access may be denied to a service animal if the dog's presence would create a safety hazard or if it would fundamentally alter the nature of the goods, services, programs, or activities that are generally provided to the public. In most settings, a service animal wouldn't fundamentally alter the situation, and generally speaking, service animals must be allowed to accompany people with disabilities in all areas of a facility where the public is allowed to go. An example of an exception would be keeping an animal out of an operating room or a burn unit where the animal's presence could compromise a sterile environment. But the exceptions are rare and should be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. When can an individual be asked to remove their service animal? A person can be asked to remove their animal if the dog isn't housebroken or if it's out of control and the handler can't get it back under their control. It's important to note that the ADA allows for an accident with regard to being housebroken or to occasional barks. Again, each situation is unique and should be evaluated in accordance with disability law and regulations. So that's our Service Animal 101 briefing for the day. We'd like to encourage you to please come see us with any questions about animals on campus, as many times we've had contact with the individuals and can help confirm those who have already identified their animal as being protected by the ADA. This helps to avoid individuals being asked the two questions repeatedly as they move about campus. We'd also like to say that we understand that the freedoms within the ADA on this matter seem excessive, and undoubtedly, they open the door to abuse of the accommodation. However, we remind ourselves that our obligation is to follow the regulations as currently prescribed and to keep our eye on legislative processes that may result in amendments in the future. So that's it for today. We thank you for your time and your attention. And now I turn it over to Meredith Selvin.
Hi all, I'm going to make this super quick in part because you've seen a lot of this information before, but I just want to make sure everybody knows the senators that are representing you. And again, the highlighted in yellow dates are the dates where we are having elections, and you should have received information about that. If you could go to the next slide, please. There's some upcoming Senate conversations that will inform feedback that I provide to DCAS, that we'll have these conversations in DCAS. So I encourage you, if you have thoughts or comments about either the waitlist process, and we're looking at the current waitlist, the way we do it is a pilot, and we're looking at the number of people in it and how the process went itself. If you have thoughts about the waitlist process, I encourage you, sorry, the cat's coming across. I encourage you to either come to the Senate meeting or send me or any of your senators the information. Same thing is true for the course caps process. It's the reviewing the course caps. If you have thoughts about that, come to the meeting or share them with any of your senators. If we could go to the next slide. And then there's two more slides, and both of them deal with openings. We have a lot of openings. We're trying to staff people to be on committees. I know we all have tons and tons and tons to do, but this is really important. So if you're interested in serving in the committee to look at BP 1300, although that may have just been filled. Selection committee, we have potential for some, and I have APBP listed twice. Sorry about that. If you can go to the next slide. Here we have a lot. We have the Strategic Enrollment Management Work Group. We have the Affordable Learning Material Work Group. The Professional Development Committee, we're still looking for a tri-chair on that one. Lead Committee, we have a few openings, and Outcome Committee. Again, I know we all have tons to do, but if you're able and interested in any of these committees, I strongly encourage you to reach out. If the person contact is not listed, you can contact me, Melissa, or any of the senators. And I think that's all the slides that I have. I don't know if we have anybody from the district here that wanted, does anybody from the district want to contribute?
I don't see anyone. How about, do we have our bookstore partner on the line? It doesn't look like it, which means we are at question and answer period. So are there any questions for anyone? If not, then we will have a short YuZoom for March, which is not a bad thing. Lots going on, busy times. Hope everyone has a great week, great rest of your semester, and we'll see you in April. We will stop the recording.